Hi everyone, thank you so much for finding my YouTube channel. My name is Karen and I am with Inspired by Graham. Thanks so much for finding my YouTube channel. Monday's live, we made some Valentine's Day bag with a Marbled Elegance designer series paper. It's a specialty paper because it has the gold foil in it. And this one here has a little handle. And this is just the back side here. And then most people enjoyed the bag that does not have a handle, and this one is closed. It gets closed by a little Velcro tab. It's about 1/4 of an inch, and you can go back onto Monday's live to find how to make this little cute bag. And then we've got some generic bags too that are really just easy, quick and easy bags, I guess I would call them. And then here's another one. I had an extra paper pumpkin heart strip from this month's paper pumpkin, so I just added that one on here just to give it a little bit more pizzazz, I guess. The heart here, which is in fresh freesia, that holds down the tab. Okay, so it just gets stuck underneath the little adorning hearts is what the hybrid embossing folder is. And it's fresh freesia there. And then this little cute little heart came from the same paper pumpkin that the little heart strip came from. So paper pumpkin always has extra supplies that you can use, which is so fun to do that and carry them on to other projects. So today I'm going to be decorating a craft bag, and I've created a more of a masculine look, I guess. I used the Toadstool Gardens designer paper, which you could get free during celebration until February 28th or while supplies last. You never know when that last pack of paper will get shipped, and then you'll have to choose something else. But this is the bag I decorated on my own here in my craft room. And I call this a little bit more towards a masculine look. And today I'm going to make more of a feminine look. And we will be kind of recreating this card, and that will be going on the front of the bag. So with that said, I'm going to show you this class here is my free with a purchase class. It only lasts until July 31st, 2025. So with a qualifying order of $35, you can receive one card kit for every design. So you'll get 4 cards plus envelopes. I do include those. And then with a $60 qualifying order, you can receive all 4 card kits plus an embellishment from my craft room. So let's go over those really quickly. I just showed you this one. We'll be using heart-shaped stamp set, which is free during celebration with a $120 order, and Hearts and Hugs bundle. And then here's that cute little mouse. Just love that mouse. And then here's another one, just not using the Hearts and Hugs. I'm just using the Adoring Heart hybrid embossing folder. This one is so much fun to use and highly suggest it to have it in your craft room, especially if you're mass producing cards, or if you wanted to use 3 hearts per card. The embossing folder has 9 hearts. So you could make 3 cards on one pass with a hybrid embossing folder. And then here's the final card that we made. Threw in some little silver and white sheer ribbon. All right, so you can receive all 4 of those card designs, 1 kit each with qualifying order. Everything is on my website, and my host code that you would need to use, which I will show you when I get to my craft room table. But anyway, the bags that we created were super cute. I've got them, you can fill them. They're big enough to fill with small little candles, chocolate, of course. So anything really small, I would say. I think this is at least, I think it's 4 inches tall by about 4 inches wide. So pretty sizable bag to put more than candy in there. So I would say maybe a small picture frame too, with maybe a picture of your grandkids or an animal. I have my cat here. You might hear her meowing because she gets very jealous when I am talking to on the phone or with you on YouTube. So I'm going to turn my camera down so you can see what we are going to be creating today, and we'll make it together. Okay, what I'll do is I'm just going to show you a quick close-up of the bag here again. Again, you can go back to Monday's live to take a look at how I made this. But here's that little Velcro tab. I've got about 10 to 12 little Dove candies in there. These are strawberry flavored. My favorite's actually the dark chocolate. I don't know, what about you? What's your favorite? And then here's the other one I made with a few extra supplies from this month's paper pumpkin. And this Velcro, or the adorning heart here in Fresh Freesia, that is that little tab that keeps down the flap there of your bag. Also, I did mention, I went back and checked. I said July 31st. I don't know what my mind is doing, but anyway, my special goes until January 31st, 2025. So my host code for this part of January is 33JUKTKS. So sorry about that. I'm not editing that out. So anyway, I'm sure you got that. So the Hearts and Hugs stamp set is what we used on Monday. I'm going to be using this little critter here. Just love the little critter. We'll be adding some hearts there. And we'll also be using heart-shaped stamp set. It is a bundle too. You can get this free with a $120 order during celebration. So I know this one's been on back order a little bit because it's so super popular. So don't miss out on this one. It's a really nice stamp set, and even you can use it 12 months of the year, especially with the hello, just because I care, thank you. So it's a very versatile stamp set, and plus it's comes with lots of dies too. So that is that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create this little bag, and I'll put a little flare of ribbon at the top. The one I'm making is a little bit more feminine, so I call this one more masculine just because I added the green and toned it down with the bright colors, but I still have a few bright colors in there. My thoughts of you are all heart-shaped. I just really love that sentiment, and this might go to my husband. We'll see. All right, so the supplies you need. I have a craft bag that I have been using. I have an affiliate, a link with Amazon, so I will link this bag in the description box. I found that this bag is really nice. I'm going to be using this bag for my craft fairs, and also get a little bit larger bag too. It's kind of like a size of a paper bag lunch bag like I used back in the 80s and 70s and 80s, but they have larger ones too. So it's very thick, and I just really like it. Okay, so what you're going to do with the little decoration here. So this is basically a card front. So here's that free with a purchase class. And we'll just go over that really quickly. Again, until January 31st, 2025. And then we'll move on February 1st with a different host code. So make sure you take advantage of this free card kits. 4 kits for a $35 order, 4 kits and an embellishment with a $60 order using my host code there. All right, so this is the one we're going to create. So we use just a little bit less supplies on the card front, or the bag. We'll call this one a bag front. So what you'll do is you'll take, and I just probably put that panel in here. Yep, there it is. So I'm using basic white thick, and I just like it because it's thicker and it's more sturdy, especially if you're going to put it on a bag. So this size here is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You can get 4 of these out of one sheet of 8 1/2 by 11. And then I've got Granny Apple Green, which this is cut 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then the designer paper, which is free with a purchase, a $60 purchase during celebration. It is 3 1/4 or 3 3/4 by 5. So what you need to do first is you're going to line up the card with equal borders, top, bottom, left, and right. So you can see the Granny Apple Green. And I got that in place. Now I suggest adding a piece of washi tape because we're going to die cut using the Stylish Shapes dies. And if you don't kind of secure it together, then you definitely, your paper can shift and you're not going to get the circle cut that you want. So you just saw me put a little piece of washi tape. Make sure it's a piece of washi tape that you've used because you don't want to rip that designer paper. Okay, so let me just take this off here. This is the Stylish Shapes dies. It's been around. It's a staple in my craft room. All of them, they are squares. Let's see, squares, circles, and banners. So I'm going to add this die right here. And I've got some washi tape on it again, so it doesn't move or shift when it goes through the die cutting machine. All right, so that's pretty secure on there. Off camera, I am going to run this through my die cutting machine, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, I just ran that through my embossing machine, and the die is still stuck in there. But when you take this off, just be really careful that you do not rip your paper from the washi tape. All right, because sometimes that will happen, especially if your washi tape is really, you've used it for just barely, you know, a couple times, or maybe it's even new. So definitely make sure you're using more of a worn piece of washi tape and just go really, really slow. Washi tape is kind of like painter's tape. All right, so now I've got the circle here and it's die cut all the way through. On Monday's video, I showed you how to use these two circles. So take a look at that. I'll link the video in the video link in this pre-recorded video. All right, so the one thing I wanted to make sure I did was make sure that those circles lined up and I still had that equal border, which I do have. So the next step you're going to do is you're going to adhere it to that basic white thick. I'll be using my liquid glue today. And I like to get it right close to that little circle and not too close to the edges. And then this gets adhered to the basic white, and we're going to just distribute the front here, the panel, equally top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, so that is it so far. The next step is to add the heart there. So I've got a ton of hearts already pre-cut, and I'm going to be using more, I'm using this color, Toadstool Garden. So I'm going to incorporate the Melon Mambo, and I think I will incorporate maybe Petal Pink. Let's check this out. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Plus, I'm going to stamp the heart on this one. So it's going to be a little bit different than this original one. This one just has the die cut heart on there. I'm going to stamp with the heart, and then I'll stamp with the sentiment. So let me grab that stamp. Here it is. I've got it mounted on a D block, and I'm going to be stamping in Melon Mambo. And then we got to try to get this really centered the best we can, of course. Okay, the reason why I put that Granny Apple Green on there first is because I want to know where that circle is and try to get this heart centered the best I can. So we have that in there. The next step we will do is we will stamp the sentiment that says, "My thoughts of you are all heart shaped." So I'll just ink that up again in Melon Mambo. And then when I'm stamping this, I'm looking at the word shaped because it's going to fit down here, and I don't want it to shift into the already stamped heart. So I'm just looking at the word shaped, and everything else should fall into place. Yep, it does. All right, so I think that is all of our stamping for the front. Now I will stamp the little critter, and we will color it in with our Stampin' blends. All right, so I have a piece of scrap from my scrap bin. I've got the little critter already mounted on a C block. And then I have my Memento black ink, which you use when you're using our Stampin' Blends. Stampin' Blends there are permanent markers, so it's alcohol based. So the best black ink is your Memento black. And I like to hold the critter down for maybe 5 to 10 seconds, just so that Memento black absorbs into the white and I get a really nice image. Our next step is to color in the mouse, and make sure you have scrap paper underneath your little critter here. And I like to start with the dark crumb cake. So I'm using crumb cake dark and light, and just think about when you're using the dark shading one, it's where the sun is hitting and providing shade. That's how I like to think of it. And I'm going to go over that black little line there for his little cheeks. And then right here. And then his mouth. And then I'm just going to go all the way around. I'm not worrying too much about the little getting close to the edge, because I'm going to take my light crumb cake and go around and make it blend it in a little bit. So I'm just going to bring this dark crumb cake in a little bit more. I would, if I'm not like this, I just like quick and easy. So when I'm blending, don't follow me. I would highly recommend you viewing Patty Bennett. She is great with her Stampin' Blends. She does such a wonderful job, and a shout out to Patty Bennett. All right, so I'm squeaking with the light crumb cake. When it squeaks like this means it's your like warning that perhaps you need to reorder some crumb cake, because most likely your crumb cake is getting low on ink. So I'm just using the blending side, though I call it the blending brush. The other side is a chisel point, and I am blending on the side of that tip. If you go straight down and give it pressure, well, you probably are going to break that tip. So make sure you are using the side of it rather than straight down. So here's the fine chisel point. So I'm going to use that to color in his little hands and the feet. And when this dries, it's going to dry a little bit lighter. So you always have to think about that. Should I add a little bit more dark in there? Which most likely I think I'm going to do that. So I think I need a little bit more dark up here. So let's give those ears a little bit more darkness. And then the cheeks here, I'm going to go over it with the light shade as well. Okay, so let's grab that light shade, and I'm just going to go right over his face, trying to blend in with the dark crumb cake. We're going to be using light bubble bath for the cheeks, and then we will go over that light bubble bath with the light crumb cake. Okay, so looking good so far. We're going to grab our bubble bath. And I've got my bubble bath here, so I'm going to just do some circles, very light. I'm not giving it a lot of pressure. That ink is absorbing into the brown colors plus the white cardstock. If you want bright cheeks like that, then you can just leave it like that. And let me color in his nose with the bubble bath as well. I don't personally like those cheeks like that, so I like to tame it down with the light crumb cake. There, I'll give him a little bit more brown up here. All right, so that is our little critter. Your next step is to die cut the critter out with your die. And this is the one that you would use for this process. Again, I like to use my washi tape. I've got some on here. And we're gonna center this die all the way around. And when I'm putting the die on, I kind of take a look at probably on this image here, the left ear and the right foot. All right, then my eyes are gonna travel all the way around to see where I can see white. And I can see some white over there. And what I want to end up with is we're gonna have a white border, but I want it all equal all the way around. We don't want a heavy border on one side. That means your die was not centered and you might have to die cut or color in the critter again and then die cut again. So I'm going to take this to my die cutting machine and I'll come back with you. All right, so I just die cut my critter out and it just kind of like popped right out there, but be careful with the washi tape. You don't want to ruin that by tearing your paper. And here's the little critter, and this is what I was talking about on the white border. You can see how pretty much it's equal all the way around. And that didn't shift in there, so highly recommend the washi tape. All right, let's bring in our card front or our bag front, and we're gonna finish it off. So again, we've already pre-cut the designer paper. I'm gonna flip it over. We need to add dimensionals to this piece, so I'll grab some. These are, again, our dimensionals that I got with one of our kits, and Paper Pumpkin and our kits collections. Stampin' Up always gives us more supplies than what we need, so I enjoy using them instead of I'll use the extras before I purchase any of the new dimensionals. So they are a little bit different, but not so, I mean, they do the same purpose. It's sticking your paper and giving it height, I just love that they give you extra supplies. All right, I think I've got enough. Well, maybe I need to add one up here. The designer paper is a little bit thin. Of course, it's thinner than our cardstock, so I'm using a lot more dimensionals than I normally would on a card front and just with cardstock. But it needs a lot of support just because it is a lot lighter than your cardstock. So just make sure those are all pressed down really good. You don't want them coming off. And then you can just either peel off your dimensional backings. If you do that, use your thumbnail, and that way that backing will come up and you can just pull it off. What I like to do is I like to take my piercing tool, which is our take your pick tool, and I poke it in there very carefully. Not the small ones though, but the ones that are a little bit bigger. And that way they come on the end of the piercing tool and I don't have to, I'm much faster doing it this way. All right, there's one more there. I think I've got all those off except for the side one here, which I will peel off because it's too small to use or for my piercing tool. Okay, so now we're just going to center this heart on top of the other Granny Apple Green heart. And we're looking for that border. So we can see the garden, or I want to keep saying garden green, but it's Granny Apple Green. And so now I've got a nice border all the way around the front. And press that down really well. And next up is I'm going to take some of those hearts. I've already pre-cut a bunch of these. And I'm going to use, let's try Petal Pink. I don't think I've used a Petal Pink heart. And I'm also going to use Melon Mambo. So this is going to be definitely a little bit more stepped up than that masculine look. You're just going to be careful because these hearts kind of get intertwined if you have them in a little bin like I do. Now you could have used our adhesive sheets our adhesive sheets you could die cut them at the same time, and then you could just peel off the backing of the adhesive sheet. But I don't mind just taking the extra time to use my liquid glue in little tiny dots. You do not need to put glue on every single petal there. All right, and we're just gonna kind of press this down, and let me grab my block, and we'll press it down this way because using that block will give you a better like touch, and so that it's I don't know what I want to say. I think you guys get it. Anyway, adherence. All right, so now we're gonna do the same process. Oops. Let's take our liquid glue, and we will probably maybe 6 times. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That should do it. And I'm going to off center this one, but I want to make sure I can still see the words. So I'm going to shift it up, grab that block again, and we're going to press it down. This actually helps you keep the glue off your fingers. It will go on the block if you have excess glue, but you can clean that up pretty quickly with just some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. All right, so looking good so far, don't you think? All right, we're going to embellish it with a cute little flowers, and I've already die cut a bunch of these. This time I'm going to use 2 pieces of the foliage, one in Granny Apple Green, I think, if I have it. Yep, I do, in Old Olive. And then I'm going to take one of the petal pink flowers, probably. I've got poppy, that's real red, petal pink, and white. I think that will be good. All right, and now what I'll do is I'm just going to add a dot of glue right there. So a very small amount, and then maybe some right down here. I'm going to grab one of these foliage pieces, and I'm going to just stick it on down there. Again, you can use your block. Oops, that didn't stick. Let's try that again. You can use mini glue dots as well. So if this doesn't stick the way I want it to, I've got some extra paper pumpkin mini dots. I think that's good. I'm going to need to add some more glue down here because I'm sure it went onto the block. Maybe I'll just add some right there too. Okay, so I've got my Granny Apple Green, and we'll add it down here. Let me quickly grab that block, and we'll just hold it in place. All right, that should dry in time. So next up are our flowers, and just determine which one you want on the very top. I'm going to go with the petal pink on the top. So I'm going to take my real red, add the glue to the back, and I'm going to just adhere it right down there. And then I'm going to take the white, and we'll do the same thing, add the glue to the back side, and put it right about here. And then finally, we've got our petal pink, and you can add a mini glue dot to the back side of this one, or simply just adhere it down. And let me grab my block one more time. That way we'll give it a little pressure. While that's semi-drying, we can work on the little critter here. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back side of this one here. 3 will be plenty. We got 1, 2, oops, that one may be too close to the edge, which it is, but it's okay. I'm going to trim it. I can trim it down with my scissors. You can use your paper snips, or I have actually a dedicated pair of scissors just for like adhesive. I'm just going to cut that at an angle, and now we do not see it. All right, that should be plenty dry enough. And I'll just press with my thumbnail and quickly take those off. And I like to add this little critter down here. Now we're gonna create those little hearts there, and those come with the dies that are in the Hearts and Hugs bundle. And I have them already cut. And let me just dump them out here on my table. I will be using the Melon Mambo and the Fresh Freesia probably. I have no orange in there, pumpkin pie, so I'm going to use, let's see, I only have 3 of the Fresh Freesias. So I will go with a Melon Mambo and the Fresh Freesia one in the, on the very top. So use your putty side of your take your pick tool. And let me just add a little bit of putty so it comes out. And then I'm going to put glue down here. So I know I want some hearts on both sides of the little, on the hands. And again, I want the Melon Mambo. So I need to have that heart with the right side facing me. And I will put that cute little heart here. Oops. And let's straighten that up a little bit. Okay, so there's one. And we'll do the same thing on the left hand. I already have the glue on there. Put that there. And then we're going to take 2 more. And again, I want the front side facing me. I'll grab my liquid glue, and I've got 2 more dots to put on the little critter. I call him a critter. Some people say it's a gerbil. I like critter. I don't know why, I just do. All right, so then we've got this on, and then we're gonna final heart is going to be that Fresh Freesia one, and we're going to pop that one up with a mini dimensional. So let me grab that sheet of dimensionals, and I'm gonna need my scissors again just to cut a really tiny piece because it is a really tiny heart. I'm going to use that take your pick. And then that backing just came off. I can use my fingertips for this heart here. I guess I could have put those hearts a little bit closer together. Let me just see what it would look like. Nah, I don't think so. Yeah. I'm going to just leave it as is, but I would have kept it a little bit closer together like this one here that I made. You can see there's not as much of a gap in between the hearts. So I just went a little bit too far down. I wonder if I take this off just so and move it up a little bit. It might help it. There. I think that's okay. So let me grab all these little hearts because I work so hard die cutting them out, and I'll use them on future projects. All right, so we will adhere this to the front. I like to use my tear and tape to do this. So we'll just flip it over. Again, I'm using a leftover paper pumpkin tear and tape. I just think it's great that they give us more than what we need. It makes it well worth purchasing a kit. Plus, with paper pumpkin, you usually get a stamp set. And you can add stamps that way to your collection as well. All right, get all those in the garbage. I got a little tear and tape over, so we'll just fold it back over on the back side. And we're going to add this to the bag, and I like I call this the back side. So the front side is going to have this little design. And I'm just trying to look and make sure it's straight. And press it down really well. I'm going to add, just for a little flair, because this is more feminine look, let's add some Wink of Stella to those hearts and maybe the cheeks. So I'm just going to lightly brush some Wink of Stella there and maybe the cheeks too. I almost forgot the embellishment for the flowers. Again, I'm using leftover paper pumpkin embellishments, and they're little iridescent sequins, and they look really nicely on the flowers here. Perfect size for the center of the flower. And I'm adding all three because we can see the center of all three of these flowers. All right, so that's what that looks like. Hopefully you can see the little sequins there. There's three, and then there's Wink of Stella on the hearts. Again, I'm sure that's pretty hard for you to see. I'm going to grab a few more of these sequins to jazz up all the area of the designer paper here. They're all the same size, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so that looks a lot better, just adding on those sequins. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create that little, it's not a little bow or anything. I just kind of made something, and this is with the open weave trim. It is, I think it's 1.5 inches wide. Yes, it is. And it's really fun to use. The first time I've actually used it and just really enjoyed using it. So I'm going to probably take about, I don't know, 20 inches or so. So I will wrap, how did I do that? Wrapped this around 4 times, just for size. 1, 2, 3, oops, and 4. And I'll grab my scissors and just trim this right off. Then I will match up the ends. So those 2 ends are there. And I'll switch over to the other side, and I'm going to trim or cut it in half. Then I take these 2 pieces of the gold. I'm really focusing on what I'm doing right now rather than talking. Take them and snip it there. All right. So next up is we're going to add in some pink. So I have the very beautiful scalloped ribbon, 3/8 of an inch, and it comes in petal pink. So I am going to, let's probably snip off, I don't know, hopefully it's enough. And I'm going to tie a bow in the middle here. I know, I think this is more than enough. I like to create a knot first. So I will very carefully create a knot. And try to put this in the center. And I'm going to pull it tight. Now, let's see if I can create some kind of bow. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Darn it. We need to actually put this on now. So what I did is I know I created the knot first, and now we're going to attach it to one of the handles. So I want that bow to be on kind of the front side. So let me kind of let me get this in here. And I'm going to have to tie another knot. This one's going all over the place. And hopefully I might have to untie this one. or just come back and show you when it's finished. Let's see if I can get this. No. So let me do this off camera and I will come back to you. Okay, that was a little crazy. This is like crazy hair if you asked me. But on the other one, I used the silver and gold trim, 1/8 of an inch, and that seemed to tie this a little bit better. So that does come in silver and gold. This one, since that ribbon is wider, I think that's what caused the issue, but I still think it looks pretty good. We can open it up. And then now we have a cute little bag just for your Valentine. And you can actually put lots of things in here. You can grab your little bags that you created and we can put them in there. We could put some tissue paper or shred in this bag and maybe put some candles in there. And we got some tea light candles. And we could also put a stamp set. This bag fits perfectly. Let's see if I can get it in here with everything that's in there. There we go. A stamp set. So what better gift at Valentine's than to give a stamp set or bundle to your loved one. Okay, so that is it. That's how you create that bag. So we have this one. Our inspiration came from the front of this card. And then here's your more masculine look. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I love creating videos for you. They're not the best, but you know what? I am Karen, and Karen does what she needs to do to create a video. And I don't edit usually, very rarely. So you get to see my mistakes as well. So I hope you have a great day, and I'm taping this on Thursday. Let's see, today is the, what, 29th, I think it is. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. My watch is weird. It says 0319, and that does not sound right. Anyway, you guys know the date.